we have hopefully the resiliency that we can get through this without too much trouble. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't want to see it get all negative like this, but it could. And then many members of Congress are saying that these UFOs are actually not piloted by humans on Earth. An unprecedented number of members of Congress say they are non-human craft after they saw the unclassified files that hopefully we're going to get too. More and more lawmakers are going from this might be technology we have to this is technology that is non-human. There is plenty of evidence of this anomalous behavior that we cannot explain. We just cannot explain it. Okay, so that's actually good. You know, if you think about it, getting to the point where they're going to make an announcement, getting to the point where there's too much anomalous behavior that we can't explain by humans, yes, I think it's going to cause us to grow up as a society. And again, what I'm doing here is, yep, you're absolutely right. Ontology is a branch of metaphysics studying the nature of existence. Once we get to that point, once we get to that big reveal, that's why I want to go back and look at this ancient art, because it's frequently associated with Christianity. The UFO phenomenon shows up in so many religious artworks. It's really quite dazzling. And, you know, there's a big effort underway of gaming out what do they want to say and what do they want to withhold. What are they actually going to disclose and how far is this going to go? So this is something, another big researcher in UFOs right now, Jeremy Corbell, they're having discussions in the White House, the Pentagon, about what they're actually going to say on UAPs. And he tells Piers Morgan this is concerning. Number one, admitting the knowns of the UAP phenomenon. Number two, admitting what we don't know. That's probably what's going to scare people, right, is all the things we don't know. And maybe there are other parts of our secret military apparatus that do know, but they're not talking. That could be a big part of it too. The unknowns are, okay, well, yeah, we have certain groups that have basically broken away and they're now operating autonomously and they're not telling us what they know and they won't even share it with the President of the United States. I mean, that's going to freak people out and they're going to want investigations and all kinds of stuff. The acknowledgement that we're not alone, that's a really big one. And the articulation of the global defense concerns that required secrecy. That again is the get out of jail free card. Why did they have to quote unquote lie? Well, because they just needed to keep us safe. And you know, I get that there was global defense concerns. And he says that, Piers Morgan says that when these two presidents talk about extraterrestrials being real, that is game-changing. I absolutely and totally agree. So, next we have Brazil stepping up to the plate, and they're saying, yes, we have some very interesting material that we want to disclose. And we have another donation that came in. Thank you very much. Caribbean Jack, from my own moment of 333, I found Jesus. He is the most important thing in my life now. Was this the same that happened to you after your own 333 moment? Thanks for all you do. Yes, synchronicity is very important. For me, it was more about my higher self. The connecting that to the Christ consciousness came much later. But the idea that I have a higher consciousness, the idea that I'm loved, the idea that I'm being supported by the universe, that really, really went a long way. And so, yes, the 333, if you see those numbers on the clock, you want to pay attention to what were you thinking or believing or saying right before these things happened. And, you know, so anyway, there we go. Definitely, please don't use keywords. Please don't say things that are obviously going to get us in trouble. That was withheld by YouTube, so I don't know why people do that, but they do. Anyway, maybe somebody doesn't care about my show very much, and they're just saying, you know, what can we do? But anyway, it's all good. I'm not too worried about it. You know, we got to just moderate as necessary. But anyway, it happens. So, Ross Coldhart, again, stepping up to the plate, saying, Brazil's former defense minister has disclosed that they have something significant in their UAP archives that he thinks is fully worthy of release. A perfect illustration of how, if the president takes the lead on disclosure, the rest of the world will follow. And he says here, we'll actually read the whole thing. I clicked on it here. As a former minister of defense, I am provoked to speak on the subject. I know what the armed forces have in their archives. What I can say is that if the U.S. government releases its documents, I will do the same if elected president of Brazil. So he's got to run. He's got to run for office in there. He's got to try to be the disclosure president. Which, okay, you know, fire in a little political statement. I get it. It's probably a good idea. But yeah, so Brazil definitely has some cool stuff that they're withholding that we can see right here. I know what the armed forces have in their archives. So once again, we know that this is coming out. We know it's going to happen. Last but not least, we have good old Wild Bill, one of the two Wild Bills, I guess, on revelations from the heavens. This is a resurfaced clip that hits us very differently in 2026, where he says younger generations are going to see revelations from the heavens. In this powerful speech from Hong Kong, he tells the crowd, quote, this is the former president, Bill Clinton, younger generations will see all sorts of revelations from the heavens. These discoveries may cause some trouble at first, but they will ultimately be a massive plus for humanity. He's been obsessed, that's the end of the quote. He's been obsessed with UFOs for decades. He even sent people to Area 51. Now with the president back in office actively pushing full declass, the speech feels prophetic. Is he low-key confirming that he knows what's coming? Was he preparing us for disclosure all along? Yes, maybe so. It's very interesting that he said specifically, younger generations will see revelations from the heavens. It may cause trouble at first, but will be a massive plus for humanity. That's pretty freaking cool.